Hey, this is Cameron, and welcome to the practice log. Alright, we got a lot of stuff to get into today. The practice is coming along well. How's your practice coming along? Why don't you post in the comments about it? Tell me about your practice. Sorry, I don't mean to get, too excited at you. You know, I've said this a lot, but I've just been approaching things in a new way. There are different phases that my practice needs to go through, because I think throughout this entire journey that you've seen, it's been a lot of just, learning a bunch of notes. And now it's become really apparent to me that I need instruction on how to play the notes. Even if my technical abilities are there, I can memorize it. I'm smart enough to memorize a bunch of black dots. It helps to just have some instruction. So that being said, I actually just had my first lesson with Brandon Aker, that is. You might have heard of him. And it was really good. It was pretty much as good as the first one. We still only covered the sore Mozart variations, and we just went deeper into it. And yeah, so that's pretty exciting. A little info about that. I mean, we could spend a few months probably just continuously working on that. Right now the plan, which I'm actually looking at the email now, he sent me a new, relatively easy Baroque piece called Espanoletta by Sands. Really? I've never heard of it. I have no idea about this kind of stuff. But it's a pretty easy piece, and it's one that I'm going to learn by the next lesson, and we're going to talk about ornamentation of Baroque music, because I don't really know anything about that. And we think that it'll carry over nicely to the Bach that I play. Again, because a lot of the Bach that I have, it's just a bunch of memorized notes. And I have a general concept of the harmony. I know what's being played, but I do not know how to play it of the period. At all. So it'll be cool to go into that stuff. We mainly just talked about the sore Mozart variations, which I might as well get into this comment, because I got a real nice comment about my sore Mozart variations. I haven't even read the whole thing yet. So, you're not going to see that today. I've been working on Villa-Lobos Prelude 2. I'm sort of taking inspiration from that Parkening record that we listened to. And I mean, you'll hear it after I'm done blabbing at you. But I don't know, I feel, which I haven't actually listened to it yet, because I've done the practice already. I'm going to practice more today. The practice logs are kind of staggered right now, where you get this part first, and then you get yesterday's practice. I'll talk to you about my practice, what I was going through then. Yeah, the next one will probably be learning this apparently easy Baroque piece. So, that should be a walk in the park. Anywho, I have some comment questions that I want to get into today. This one is from Jimmy Hagerstorm. This is a long one, so let's settle in and see what you have to say. Have you practiced or worked on the things Brandon talked about in your lesson? Accusatory start. Though we don't know the tone yet, it's just a question. I mean, I would answer yes, but let's keep going. It doesn't sound like that to me. Most of the things he pointed out is still very similar, in my opinion. Well, Jimmy. Thankfully, you are going to talk about your opinion, so if you just left it at that, that would be an annoying comment. But you didn't. You wrote a whole lot, so let's just get into it. I remember him saying something like, don't worry about your technique. It's all there already. He was just being nice. It's not all there, but it's mostly there. And I agree with that. Yeah, no, dude. We still need to dedicate an hour of technique every day. The problems are more related to the tempo and the presentation and the feel. Yeah, that was something that happened. It's funny that you mentioned that, because even in our lesson, when I started playing that introduction, when I went from the, into that, Brandon was like, whoa. Feels like a different piece. You're just picking tempos out of hats right now. That's what he said to me. Just kidding. He didn't say that. And you remember his advice was to hear the triplets from the beginning. I guess I just didn't do a good job of that. For the guitar music that we play, it's easy to get into this mindset of it is a solo endeavor. Just whatever you're feeling is just what's going to come out, and that can change dramatically, the tempo and stuff, because it's just you. There's no conductor. But you really should treat a lot of this music as if you are a conductor. That's what this is. It's a little crappy orchestra. It's the world's worst orchestra. You should be the conductor of that crappy little orchestra and at least keep them in time. So yeah, you're right. The tempo, I still need to work on that. You kind of rush through some parts. Often the ending, it feels like you're already in the next section and just want to finish fast to get to the next part. That's a funny thing, that feeling. That is the feeling of not wanting to make a mistake and just wanting to get the piece over with. And it's really, what's the goal in doing that? What exactly am I going to accomplish by just getting through it with no mistakes? Even if I do get through it with no mistakes, is that even rewarding? That I felt horrible playing the thing the whole time and now it's finally over? What's the point of that? Why am I even playing it? And that's something that I felt. I think we've all felt that at some point. That's just a reminder to when you're playing music, you should be trying trying to make music and like sort of have people relate with what you're playing, or not relate, but like you're trying to showcase the music for people, and you're not just trying to showcase like your technique, how it's not going to fail every moment that you're playing. And if you're doing that, you're not going to want to rush, and you're not going to want to get to the end. And the beat is lost here and there. It sounds like you're just trying to play all the notes in the right order. At the same time, the feeling is lost and it stops sounding like music. Yeah, I think like that's a thing that happens to me sometimes. You pretty much got it bang on right there. It's way easier for a listener if you miss a note or two, but are staying in the pocket. Gotta stay in the pocket. I used to hear that a lot when I would play like funk gigs. I'm known to fall out of the pocket sometimes. If the tempo and the harmony is there, our brains fill in the blanks. I'm not optimistic about that for some of you. For some of you, I gotta play every single one of those notes, so you're not gonna get it. It gets very demanding to listen to when you can't relax and flow with the music and the tempo goes up and down, and one bar is 1/4 longer than the one before because it contains more notes, if you get what I mean. Dang, was it that bad? Was I playing that weird? That sucks. It sounds like you haven't listened to the music enough or haven't had it in your heart/mind before starting to learn to play the notes. That's true. I never listened to the song before I played it. That was true for a lot of the music that I've learned how to play previously. The Morel Sonatina, I never listened to that until I actually played it. It's a pretty crazy experience to learn an entire piece like that and then finally listen to like David Russell play it and be like, oh, that's what he does. I'm sorry for the harsh comment. Well, now you're featured in an episode of the practice log, so, you know. I don't mean it like that, though. I'm just honest and trying to help, smiley face. I really think you should go back and listen to Brandon's points and lay your focus there. He chose to point out certain things because those are the most important for you to work on because that's what you are lacking. He gave you a lot of concrete tips to play the piece with a metronome, for example, and honestly, a big part of things he pointed out are still the same. And then you tagged it with hugs, 2 exclamation marks. Well, sir, that ain't a harsh comment. That's just a real comment. You're just being real to me right now. Like, if you want to look at some harsh comments, go check out my Marson video. Where half of Poland is just, like, tearing me apart on there. It's brutal. Sometimes I check the comments, like, every few months just to read them, and they're just like, wow, I feel anything I said about Marson, this is, like, way worse than anything. They're like attacking like every part of me. Yeah, like the technique is there for a lot of it. It's just how I'm playing it. Like that's the sort of experience that I'm just trying to get now. And like something that expedites that, of course, is like, I mean, listening to it, like having in your heart or whatever that, whatever that means. I feel like I'm in the home stretch with that piece. I'll play the whole thing in a few practice logs from now, and I think you'll be mighty pleased with where it ends up being. Which, by the way, thank you for taking the time to listen to it. That's something that I don't appreciate enough, I feel. Or like I do appreciate it, but I'm very lucky to be in this situation where I can have somebody like you just watch my like crappy performance of the Soar Mozart variations, because most people don't get their Soar Mozart variations watched until it's like freaking a bangin', spang-danglin' Soar Mozart variation. But I'm in a position where I get to just like have my guitar and just like take a crap on it and just be like, see that? Look at that. 1,500 views, and then people like you like giving like legitimate comments and criticisms to it. Usually you'd have to pay people to do that. So it's kind of nice for that reason. So there's no hard feelings with any kind of comment like that. So I think we can wrap up this talking portion here. Just going through a comment, wasn't a question, it's just a statement. All right, well, I'm going to go practice now. So I'll see you in the chair. Yesterday, I think I focused on just like one or two things in that piece, just like perfecting them. And I did the same thing with the Soar Mozart variations, just like one little section that just didn't feel like secure. And I would just spend like an hour just like playing it slow perfectly every single time. And I think that's the kind of practice that I need right now, just like general precision practice, because I can be like kind of sloppy sometimes. And I've just been sort of letting myself get away with a certain amount of slop. It's just not what I want my playing to sound like. But I think I'm getting closer to what I do want. So that's that piece. We'll see what we can do with that over the next few days. Let me try moving you. It looks a little dark. Yeah, I've been adjusting my hand angle too. Like, I used to play with a bit more of a bend in my wrists, and now I'm actually experimenting with playing more like this, especially for those arpeggio parts. I don't know, that seems to be working out for me right now. Yeah, that pretty much covers everything. Let's go ahead and wrap this thing up, and yeah, I'll see you in the outro. Hey, well, if you made it this far, be sure to subscribe and leave a like, and hey, want some guitar lessons? I'll teach you how to play guitar. Email in the description, head on down over to Rootin's Delight, pick yourself up some merch. I'm wearing a large right now, so it's a little big on me. Check out the podcast, check out all the stuff, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one.